Hi guys, it's me, Mana Reads, here with another Mana Recommends video. You guys seem to like the recommends videos, so I'm just going to keep doing them. Hopefully you continue to like them, and if you please leave any comments down below. I want to read them. I want to read what you have to say. If you also have any recommendations you'd like me to check out, feel free and let me know, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here for you. Anyway, let's get started. Today it's another fun video. I'm going to recommend some books. I'm going to talk about them a little bit, and yeah, we're going to have a good time today. So the first book that I wanted to recommend, or just kind of because I think it's a little funny. So I started, I don't know when, but for some time I started to get into romance books. Right? Because they're really cheesy, but I was like really in love with them for a time. And my favorite romance book author is Catherine Coulter. So this is the Nightingale Legacy. It's actually a pretty thick book. It's really old. Well, not this copy in particular, but it's been around for a while. So the thing is that it's about, it's about Carolyn Durrett Jones. She's turning 19. She's about to get, out of the guardianship. Guardianship is a big deal. And it can be abused pretty easily. Anyway, and so she meets this Frederick North Nightingale, who's Lord Chilton. I think he's an earl. I want to say he's an earl or a duke. No, he's a duke, actually. But it's been a long time. So yeah, so some hijinks, ensue, and lo and behold, they end up falling in love. Spoiler alert: if you've never read a romance novel in your life, they're all pretty much like that. I don't know. I just really like this. It's not, it wasn't very explicit, and for the time, it was a really fun read. Romance books, as for the bad rap that they give you, or that they give, are actually really fun reads sometimes, because you just want something to tide you over, or just to have a good time with, and not really think that hard about. It's just a fun ride. There's a follow-up novel with some certain characters of the book. But if you want to check this out, yeah, it's one of the good ones. I would recommend. I definitely do like her as an author. They have, oh yeah, so it's the Nightingale Legacy, and then they have the Wyndham Legacy and the Valentine Legacy. I think I read these I didn't read them in order, but you don't have to. You don't. So that's really good. It's like you can just read it as a standalone, and you don't have to, get the trilogy. Or if you want to, you can. I actually didn't read the other books, but the other book that I have to recommend, or I want to recommend to you, if you're not into this sort of thing, that's okay. Everybody's into, whatever they're into. But it's called The Story of O. It's actually it's a French book, but it's, so the thing about this book is we don't know who actually wrote it, so this name down here is like a pseudonym. So it we don't actually know. It's a pretty old book. It was very controversial back in the day, because it had themes of BDSM before BDSM was entered into consciousness. So yeah, so it's really interesting. This was the first BDSM novel I ever read. It still, holds up even to this day. And it's just so interesting, because this is for a little naughty time. when you're at home alone, and you get a glass of red wine, and you want to explore your dark side, or you can read this with your partner. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to read this with your partner. I think it'd be a good way to kind of express yourselves. Just my opinion, of course. The other book I want to recommend is a fantasy book. It's actually also from an author. Unfortunately, Anya Senton is no longer with us. May she rest in power. But this is called Avalon. So it's basically a take on the Arthurian legend. If you know anything about King Arthur and his knights in the Round Table, you know that King Arthur fell in love with Guinevere. Guinevere kind of fell in love with him back, but then, you know, there was this thing with like Sir Lancelot, and it got really messy. So yeah. So it's basically on that. But what I really liked about it, what I really enjoyed, was that it kind of went into female perspective of that whole Camelot lore, and it was amazing. Like, it's really good. I know that I say that about a lot of the books that I recommend. I wouldn't recommend it to you, anything that I thought was really bad. Anyway. But yeah, it's just, I like the fact that it was on her perspective, because most of the time when you read Arthurian legends, they're, you know, always about Merlin or about Arthur, or, you know, Lancelot, any of his knights, but they don't really give you a perspective on the women that, you know, that are just, you know, going through their lives in the novel, or, you know, even going through, you know, maybe they didn't want to be, you know, a princess, or maybe they didn't want, you know, to get married to, you know, the king or whatever, but they didn't have a choice. So it's kind of interesting to see that, and it's very worthy of a read. The other book that I have is a young adult novel. This was actually made into a show. Full disclaimer, I did not watch the show, so I can't compare it to the show. I know I saw some parts with Henry Shum Jr. and his on-screen partner, because, you know, I'm all about the gay life. But I other than that, I didn't see that. I didn't see the show. Is it good? Did you guys like it? If you guys saw it, would you recommend I watch it? Anyway, let me know. But the book that I have is The Mortal Instruments. This is the first book in that series. I like young adult novels a lot, even as I'm an adult. I think young adult novels are really, well, some of them, but this one, it was really good. It had all of the elements that I really enjoy. It, you know, it has fantasy. It has, you know, wolves and werewolves and vampires and witches, and I'm all about that. It has complicated plots. You know, it has a complicated love story. So yeah, it's definitely a good read. I really do enjoy the characters. You know, there's this weird like brother thing, but you're gonna have to read it for yourselves if you haven't read it. It's definitely one that I would, you know, definitely recommend to you if you like fantasy and werewolves and vampires and just hijinks. Total hijinks, but like with a slight edgelord vibe, because they're like teens going through shit, and also you know, having to like save a city, you know, so there's that. The other book that I want to talk about very quickly is this writer. Really, I know I talked about Anne Rice before, but this other writer that I'm about to introduce really formed a lot of my teenage years. Really made me kind of want to explore being a writer, and, you know, and explore different kind of genres, and really got me into like magical realism, you know, those types of books, and really formed a lot of my teenage years. So the author that I'm talking about is Francesca Lia Block. So this book is called Dangerous Angels, but it's actually a collection of all her stories, based on We'd See Bat. So it's kind of an anthology. So it kind of collects all of the books that are in the series into one big book, which was really nice for me when I was reading, because I didn't have to go find the other books, and it's just all like right in this big, like, you know, in this all big like thing. So We'd See is model. Well, she's kind of like, you know, she's a free-spirited child, you know, growing up in Los Angeles, and she meets, you know, the love of her life, and they kind of go on, you know, it's kind of about their story, and, you know, how they kind of deal with different things that come up. Also, you know, they mentioned 9/11 in here and how that affected them. They, you know, it's about, they talk about, you know, raising children, and, you know, kind of like what they had to do for that. So it just kind of, you know, goes into those different aspects, but in a way that's kind of transcendent into, you know, not just about, you know, the slice of life. You know, they use she uses a lot of magical realism to kind of transport you into a different place. It's still the same place, like it's still LA, and you kind of are familiar, but then it feels very different, and it feels like you're in another world when you read her novels, because, you know, she kind of transports you there. And I just gravitated towards that. She's one of my favorite authors. I would definitely pick up her book. I'm not sure if they still have this giant anthology, but don't worry, if you want to purchase, or if you want to get any of these books, I will link them all in the description with my affiliate link, so you can go ahead and buy them. Just click on that, you know, and that helps me, you know, with the channel, and, you know, just getting a portion of those proceeds, so that way, you know, we can, you know, have a nice screen. I can have a nice screen, so that way you don't see everything. Although I did make it really nice today, but, you know, I think that would be, you know, something that I would want for the channel. Yeah. So, you know, this series of books is really great. If you like magical realism, if you like, you know, Los Angeles, if you like, you know, weird kind of backdrops and stories, then I would definitely recommend this book for sure. For sure. If you don't buy any other book, you should get this one. This is my personal bias. And I just have two fun things left. So my fun thing, as I promised Annie, since Annie and Panda, since she made a first comment on my video last time, that I would color in a picture of my Yaoi coloring book. And I did, actually. Look, see? I mean, you know, I think, yeah. There you go. So I did it. If you guys want me to color in another page, you know, feel free to leave a comment below, and tell me that you want me to color another page, and then I will do that. And the other thing that I wanted to do today is kind of like a little unboxing, but not really. So fun fact, if you guys know, I am a My Blue, and so there's going to be a new book show called Oh My Sunshine Night, and I got the t-shirt. Cool, look at that. It smells. But it's probably because it's been in plastic for a while, and it came all the way from Thailand, so there we go. I had some others, but this video is getting ahead of me. So I want to thank you all for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed this Mana Recommends and kind of a little bit of show and tell. Like, subscribe, and share, and make sure to ring the little bell so you never miss one of my videos. Leave a comment so I know that you enjoy my content, and all of my links to support me and the channel will be down at the bottom. As per usual, I hope you have a good rest of your day wherever you may be, and bye!